Act. But what I wanted to comment, Chair, especially I wanted to comment on this new fund which is being established, and we have heard that it will be like a grant to the public. Maybe I don't know whether the county has put into account the PFM regulations on establishment of a fund, that it should be self-sustaining and it should not rely purely on the annual disbursement from the county. Thank you, Chair.
I think as an accountant, there is a process of write-off. There is a process of declaring debts as bad and doubtful debts. That's what I expected you to say also. Is that a route they can take? Because you know the elephant in the room is that how do you handle the 75 million accounting wise? So the process of declaring a write-off, maybe you needed to tell us about that as well.
Chair, in writing off, they need to establish the bad debts which they want to write off, and of course it has to be approved by the county executive, so that they write off with the clear reasons on, meaning that they have used all the possible methods to recover the money and it cannot be recovered. I think that is what I may say, Chair.
Maybe Governor, you can comment on the first issue he has raised about compliance of the new fund to PFM, in as far as the issue of grants is concerned.
Mr. Chairman, the matter is now before the Assembly, and I'm sure all these matters are going to be canvassed there. But in our thinking as the executive, we wanted to provide just a kitty to make funds available every financial year to assist people who are vulnerable. You know, sometimes we forget why devolution was established. You know, it was meant to take resources to the grassroots, and some of these structures that take resources to the grassroots are very hostile to the ordinary folk there. Look at the EGP now, for instance. How does an old woman in Morocco, for instance, you know, participate in the tendering process the way it is? It's very, very hostile. So how do these people get government? How can they have access to government funds, even just to boost their small businesses? That's why we are saying we can provide some small funds that's going to be used as a grant. Use 100 million or 50 million. Once we give out that money, we'll just make sure that at this business they're operating, we provide a bit of advice, expert advice on how to run these businesses for these people. If it goes against the law, of course it will just die. It will not go anywhere. If we say we are providing free money is against the law, then of course we cannot operate outside the law. On the issue of the women fund, Mr. Chairman, we've decided just to, and the process that's been said in law is what we are following. Because the chief also came and said this money is not being paid, tabled the matter before the county executive committee. We made a resolution. Now the matter is going to go to the county assembly. And you can see we're still making some efforts to recover the money. We are doing an audit. So we want to see what's recoverable and what's not recoverable. But we must put an end to this, because there are people in the county who were there in 2014 when this money was being given, and they know who was given money and does not pay. So they still got out there in the villages and harassing people that want to kukujia, you know. But if you give me 1,000, I can go and sort out this thing. So we want just to close this, and kila mtu ajue kwamba hii mambo tumefunga na, you know, so that this illegal, you know, levying of illegal fees out there does not continue. And of course, this empowerment program will just focus majorly on people living with disabilities, the elderly, and orphans. You know, people, the poor of the poor. People should feel that there's a county government out here, that somebody cares. You know, that we can give somebody some boost, you know, without really putting a lot of conditions like a bank, the way we are doing some of these funds.
Very well, Senator Chimera, put yourself on record.
Thank you, Chair. Senator Chimera, member of this committee.
So, honorable members, we can. I think, Governor, I think you need to sit down with your team to see how to deal with that aspect of how you are going to deal with the 75 million.
Yeah.
Procedurally within the law, as has been read out by our legal officer, and also accounting wise, if there will be a process of write-off, then it has to be done within the law. So, honorable members, you realize the other reports had unqualified opinion, but we have one report which has an qualified opinion, that is car loan and mortgage, and we had two issues there. So the issue of unsupported trade and other payable, auditor, you can process that.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The report on Trans Nzoia County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025, which had a qualified opinion. So issue number 3 under qualifications was the statement of financial position reflects trade and other payables balance of Kenya shillings 55 million as disclosed in note 12 to the financial statements. The balance is in respect of a loan from a local bank taken on 27th March 2023.
Excuse me, which page? Which page?
Page 3 of the audit report.
I think it's on page
Page 10 of our report.
of the response.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it's on page 10 of the response.
Yes, so if I may proceed, saying the balance is in respect of a loan from a local bank taken on 27th March 2023 for provision of administration services to the scheme fund, out of which it provided Kenya shillings 50 million to the fund. However, the management recognized the liability into the financial statements at a higher amount of Kenya shillings 55 million, hence increasing the liability by an additional Kenya shillings 5 million. No explanation or supporting documents was given for the additional increase in liability. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of trade and other payables from exchange transactions of Kenya shillings 55 million could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Mr. Chairman, our management response is that the Kenya shillings 5 million was a liability brought forward from the previous audit certificate in relation to an approved loan application form that remained unprocessed and serviced. And that form is at Appendix 3 on page 11, relating to an officer called Kirato Wanjala Wanyonyi.
Auditor, your comments on the response?
Thank you, Chair. The response is that, of course, we would have wanted to know the current status, given that this has been outstanding for quite some time. But if it is not going to be processed further, then the right thing to do is to reverse that liability. Thank you, Chair.
The application has since been processed, and I think the officer will be receiving his money next week. You realize that initially this car loan and mortgage fund
You seem to be having, maybe switch it on and off and on. Yeah.
The car loan and mortgage scheme fund targeted majors are CECs. That's members of the county executive committee and chief officers. Mr. Onyonyi is the director of finance.
You can change the sergeant at arm, you can
And because this fund is evolving and people are repaying, we've decided to expand it to cover other members of staff who are interested in buying a house or buying a car. And that's why the directors are now being considered as we move down.
Auditor, you have any further comment on that?
We shall keep it in view now that Governor has confirmed it's being issued next week. We shall keep that in view in our upcoming audit. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, even as you keep it in view, I think if it's being issued next week, you can give us the evidence so that, because we are doing our report writing before end of the month.
Maybe before end of the week, can we get it today?
We can even get it. Natembeya can send it.
It can be sent right now, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, you send to the clerk.
Okay.
No, send to the auditor for verification, and then auditor send it to the committee, please. Any issue on that, honorable members? Senator Mbugwa?
Yes, Chair. Governor, the auditor is telling us that this fund is managed by two different banks. That is SBM and Equity Bank. So, and then they're saying there is no uniform treatment to the applicants. Maybe you can make it clear, maybe how that is being done. Like now, this 5 million, will it be from Equity Bank or SBM Bank? That clarity is needed.
The money that is at SBM is catering for the county executive committee members, and the money at Equity Bank is going to cater for other staff, starting with directors.
Any other query on the same? If there is no any other honorable members, they have indicated that they are going to send proof of the 5 million as soon as possible, and we will await for that. Meanwhile, the auditor, you will keep an eye on that. So we can proceed to the last query, which is failure to secure the loans.
Thank you, Chair.
Failure to secure the loans issued.
Yeah, there is a report on lawfulness and effectiveness in use of public resources relating to the same scheme. So, failure to secure the loans issued. Review of the records revealed that the fund had loan portfolio totaling to Kenya shillings 192,465,000, which comprised of a car loan amount of Kenya shillings 11,700,000 and mortgage of Kenya shillings 180,765,000 that had been issued to 35 officers. However, the minutes of the approving committee were not provided for the audit. In addition, the loans issued did not have securities contrary to Regulation 17(1) of the Trans Nzoia County Executive Loan and Scheme Fund Regulations 2023, which provides that a county government shall have a charge registered on the property financed through a loan granted under these regulations, and shall be entitled to have its name entered in all documents of title of such property. In the circumstances, the management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Mr. Chairman, our management response. The application forms, committee loan approval minutes were provided for audit review during management response to management letter. We have our evidence at Appendix 6A. Then the management institute measures to secure logbooks and title deeds. You can find that at Appendix 6B, where we have put copies of ownership documents. The process of charging these documents is underway.
Auditor, your comments on the response?
But Chairman, as we said last time, this was an oversight because this one is a prior issue, a prior year issue. We accepted that there was an oversight, and we promised that we're going to have this collateral. And as you can see, we have started collecting them, and the process is ongoing.
When were these loans issued?
From early 2023.
Okay. Auditor, what is your comments on the response?
Thank you, Chair. We have actually gone through the minutes of that approved the loan, so I can confirm that we now have verified the minutes. However, the issue of charging, as the governor has explained, is not complete until the property or the title deed or the logbook appears in the two names of the officer and the county government. So there's still work to be done so that we can secure this 192 million that is outstanding in mortgages and car loans. Thank you, Chair.
Do I have any question from members?
Yes, Chair. You know, Governor, it appears you have these documents with you from the Ronis. So the issue is just charging, and they appear to be, maybe it's not moving fast enough. And in this committee, we've had instances of people who got loans, they disappeared, the counties are unable. So why is it taking too long to charge them? And maybe you should be telling us, out of these 35, how many have the process have been completed, so that we can be sure that something is happening.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Governor has delegated me to respond to that question. One of the issues that has led us have experienced delays in charging the documents is that they were to be acquired first. The nature and the amount of loans we were issuing, first, they were not consummate to the properties that are being bought. So staff were also having some additional resources for them to also acquire the titles. So the process of acquiring the titles and logbooks took a little bit long. But to cushion us on that, the bank is, we engaged the bank, who are the administrators of the mortgage scheme, and they secured those loans through an insurance. Thank you, Chair. As we await charging of the titles. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you need to, as Senator Mbugua said, the charging process is the most important one. And and you need to give priority to that. Maybe you need to tell us how much timelines do we give you to charge this. I want to see whether that timeline is within the time that we have as a committee.
Chair, you will allow us to engage with the auditors in the next audit cycle. They can be able to report the significant progress we will have made.
Okay, so you are giving a commitment that this query will be fully addressed by the time we do the next audit.
Yeah.
Or the progress will be very impressive.
Okay. You know, the other day I saw that someone had given you a clean bill of health. Yeah. So, any other issue on the same, honorable members? Chimera, you are unusually quiet.
Chair, I'm seeing you're inciting me to ask a question. I will ask one. If I heard the auditor right, you said either you've just freshly been interacting with these approval minutes. They were not availed to you at the time of the audit cycle. Perhaps, Governor, can we get an understanding why these minutes were not availed then, but all of a sudden when you appear before this committee, they are available? Are they proper minutes or they are manufactured for the benefit of this session, Governor?
Mr. Chairman, if you look at page 3, you'll see our responses, including when car loan and mortgage scheme fund. We provided all that information on 8th of December.
Auditor,
This is a letter from...
it never got to you.
Chair, by 8th of December, I think the audit reports were being sealed in the Auditor's General's office. They could have been late, but yes, I think that's something for future to make sure while we are still in the field, the documents are availed. Yeah, 8th December was quite late.
So, Governor, you are still not off the hook. The auditor is saying you did not submit documents in good time. Let's first agree from there. True or false, Governor? It's a straightforward question.
Mr. Chairman, it was in time, but was the end of the time. But we did.
But you heard the auditor saying, Governor. You know, it's very quiet for obvious reasons. But now,
because the report was not yet out, so already.
Okay. Fair enough, Chair.
But you see the point here, I think you are trying to bring up, is that the officers who are involved in the audit process, please ensure you provide all the documents that are required within the audit period. Because, you know, it is disturbing that queries are raised, but they should ideally have been sorted out at the exit meeting. They should not even arise as a query. But now documents now surface when counties appear before the Senate. That is something we are trying to ensure that it doesn't happen again. So that documents are provided within the audit period. I agree that the Auditor General, this particular financial year, they were really struggling to comply with Article 229. And maybe within that struggle, they may not have given sufficient time to this. But then moving forward, I think documents must be provided within the audit cycle. So, honorable members, actually this brings us to the end of the, I think they have done fairly well, because out of the 5 reports, 4 had unqualified opinion, with maybe minor issues here. Only the Kalon is the one that had a qualified opinion. So that's commendable. So, honorable members, I think we'll wind up. I wish the senator was here to give final comments. I can allow a few members to make final comments before I allow the governor to make his. Can we have a final comment, especially those who are in the joint PG today? Let's start with the Senator Chimera.
You know, Chair. Chair,
a light note.
I'm shocked. Since when did you cease being a member of the ODM team? You should have seen you at the PG, but you have your own good reasons as to why you didn't attend that PG. So, asiyekuwepo na lake pia alipo. Otherwise, Governor, let me first appreciate and thank you for finding time to appear before this committee. We have seen the work you are doing at Trans Nzoia, and I would personally ask you to keep it up. We are fairly okay with what you're doing, just for a few issues here and there. But then again, when you come to this committee, take it as a learning process. We are always learning, and we are here to, exchange ideas so that we can better service delivery to our people in Trans Nzoia. And I personally am invested from there, so I must make sure my people in Trans Nzoia also get proper services. Otherwise, karibu sana, and thank you for coming today.
I think there are no comments. Let's have final comments from Governor.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I also want to, on behalf of my team, to thank you for according us the opportunity to appear before you, basically to account for public resources that have been put at our disposal. Mr. Chairman, when we come here, and maybe the senator for translation have been here, it's on an invitation. We are not summoned. We are invited to come here and engage because professionals have looked at our books and have made the report. When you go to Trans Nzoia, an impression has been created that's only Natembeya what appears before the Senate. Actually, people are about to demonstrate why the Senate is calling Natembeya all the time. Because people out there have gone down and have given this kind of information. I don't think it's fair, because we do not come here as suspects, but not an impression has been created that we are coming here because we've stolen public funds. We're basically thieves. And you look at our report, and a qualified report basically means that really we've done very, very well. Actually, should be kudos. And we've strove to ensure that happens. The idea of misuse of public funds, for us as a country, that opportunity is not available. And of course, we weren't even for CPAC. Like last time we appeared with the CPAC, and the question was, why are you here? You remember, because really there were no issues. But when you leave, somebody wants to give a slanted view. Somebody will have their people here, taking videos, and it appears as if it was a kind of cross-examination. That somebody was asking a question and I was reporting. Basically just being malicious. Chairman, as a person, I can be accused of so many things, but I can't be accused of doing a shoddy job. In my entire life, I can't stand now. We put effort in all these things. You can ask my team. I sit down with them and we look at these things as a count. Sometimes when we translate, just looking at these issues. So the idea of somebody wants to create an impression that we can be shoddy, that one is far from the truth. Otherwise, on behalf of COG, because the issues, the politics out there, we are going to appear before all committees of the Senate because the law requires us to appear before the committees of the Senate, except one. Until those issues are sorted out, Mr. Chairman will not appear before that committee. Threatening to send policemen. Policemen are just our people. We know them. They can come and bring me here by force. I'll come and sit here and I'll not talk. So the cops would force me to speak. So let us just resolve those issues and interact as the devolution family without creating unnecessary, conflicts that have been affecting your role as an oversight body of this government. I thank you.
Thank you, Governor, first of all, for honoring our invitation. We were very much concerned some few weeks back when we were told that but now I think things are normalizing. We are now beginning to see good attendance of our meetings. I can only guarantee that we try to be very professional. We are politicians, but we try to be very professional and very reasonable in our approach in this committee. So I think that will continue being our spirit as long as we exist as members of this committee. The issue of invitations are made to the governors to appear before us. It only becomes a summon when the invitations are not honored as per our rules 3 times, and then the committee can make a decision that now that a particular witness has failed to come 3 times. In the wisdom of the committee can summon. But when we invite governors, we don't summon them. There is a difference between invitation and summons. Those are 2 different things. So I think this is important clarification to the people, the public outside there. And number 2, the oversight committees of the Senate, that is PAC and PIC, our invitations are based on Article 2 to 9 of the Constitution, which is a constitutional requirement that counties appear before us to respond to issues in their audit report. So it is a legal issue, it's a constitutional issue, and is not triggered by any other person outside the committee. It is triggered by the committee and the Senate. So that clarification is very important. Otherwise, I want to encourage the governors to come even before the PAC committee. The way you are appearing before us, you also appear before the PAC, so that accountability is very important. But the issues that you have raised as a COG, I know they are being handled by the leadership of the House. I don't want to get into them. The leadership of the House will amicably address those issues. I want to thank you very much and wish you a safe journey home, home in Kitale. So we adjourn until tomorrow.